Hello, welcome to this tutorial on using Image32 and Labview. Before we can use Image32 with Labview, there are a couple of things that we need to do in order to set the system up. The first thing we need to do is to go to the File menu, select Dev Code and say Add Module. And we need to add the module remote server.dll to Image32. So we'll now press Open. You won't actually see any difference in the way in which Image32 works, but this provides the link between Image32 and Labview. We also need to make sure that the LRN Learn system is installed in the Image32 system. To do this, we go to the File menu, select Preferences, and we need to make sure that the LRN Learn system option is selected. In this case it is, and we can press OK. If one had to change from LUA to LRN, then it would be necessary to restart the program. The reason we have selected the LRN Learn system is that we can use the Learn window and the interactive command structure to tell us what command syntax we need for Labview. So if I just open the Learn window, now any functions that we now carry out will automatically be copied into the Learn window. So I'll just say File and we'll say Open Image, and we'll just select all of the image files, and I'll select the file blob, and we'll put this file into image buffer A. What we can see now is we've got two parts to the syntax. There's a part which is in blue. Now this is what is known as the command, and the part which is in black, which is the option. And when we come to actually running Labview, these are the two elements that we will need to copy and paste into the command protocol for Labview. If I, for instance, now select a different colour palette, what this has done is to select a Mono 64 palette, and in this case we can see that there's a command but there are no option parameters that follow it. The second thing we have to do is to copy the associated library files from Image32 into the Labview userlib directory. I'm making an assumption that Labview has been loaded onto the system. So what we'll do now is we will open up the Image32 directory, and in the Image32 directory you will see a folder called Image32-LV. We need to make a copy of this, so I'll do right click, copy, and then we need to navigate to the user library file. This is normally located on drive C program files, making an assumption that it's a 32-bit version of Labview that you're using, so it'll be in Program Files x86, National Instruments, and then depending on the version of Labview that you're using, and I've got Labview 2011 running on the system here, and then there will be a folder called userlib, and we need to drop into this folder the Image32 Labview directory. So I'll now do a paste. Okay, we're in Labview and we're in the block diagram view, and what we'll do to start with is just find a link to the Image32 Labview libraries. So we'll do a right hand click, select user library, and we will then pin the Image32 Labview libraries to the worktop. Now there are very few functions that are required by Labview in order to control Image32. We'll just have a look at each one of these in turns. The first one is start Image32, and what this will do is it will issue a command through the Windows operating system to Image32 to start the Image32 program. The second function can be used to check to see whether or not Image32 is running, and it will return true or false depending on the state of Image32. The third function that we use is the command function. Now the command function takes two parameters. It takes the command parameter and it takes the option parameter. It can also return a result string and a result code depending on the operation that we're actually carrying out. The next function that we have available is a getPicture function, and what this will do is to return the contents of an image buffer to a Labview window control. And then the final function is stop Image32. I've now created a very simple Labview program which demonstrates most of the functionality of the Image32 interface to Labview. On the front panel I've created a single picture control, and that's all there is on the front panel display. The block diagram has got a set of sequence operations, and it starts by initializing the picture variable to a null picture. It then issues the start Image32 program, and then we sit in a loop waiting for the Image32 program to have properly started. We then issue a command, and the command that I'm issuing is a load PCT command. So what we do is we place the load PCT into the command input, and then in the options input we have the name of the file that we want to load and the image buffer into which we want it loading. The next element of the program takes a picture from image buffer B and transfers it into the picture window within Labview. And then finally we stop the Image32 program. So what I'm going to do now is to run the program. So we'll now press the play button to run the program. Now what we saw there was the Image32 program starting up. It loaded the image into buffer A, and then it's transferred the image into the picture handle on the front panel display.